Over the past 130 years, the American Red Cross has been a nonprofit organization recognized nationwide. In times of dire need, and when funds cannot be supplied to aid a cause, the Red Cross has proven to be imperative to the betterment of society. While focusing on a number of areas, including disaster relief, blood donation, and international services, this organization couldn't be successful without the millions of people supporting their cause, from donating blood to volunteering their time year after year. Even if one isn't directly involved with the Red Cross, times of trouble bring people of the community and across the world together to unite beliefs of helping those in need. From the perspective of a mother with a severely ill newborn to a family who has lost everything to nature's triumph, the impact that a life-saving blood transfusion or clean clothing and life's necessities mean more than words can express. Through the combination of giving back and receiving aid imperative to survival, the significance of the Red Cross comes full circle. To further prove the importance of blood donation, the amazing survival story of a newborn boy turned from heartbreak to immense gratitude after he had been cured. No one could have foreseen an illness as this one, especially Jody Morehouse, a second-time mom who had had a perfectly normal pregnancy with her son Mason. She describes what happened a little over a decade ago.
Mason was born on December 27, 2001. I had a very normal pregnancy with him. There was no indication that anything would be, there'd be any problems with delivery. But after a full-term pregnancy, he was born, and the nurses noticed that there were some signs of struggle with his breathing, and so they immediately put him on oxygen and started a battery of tests. He was 3 days old when, after a biopsy, it was determined that he had neuroblastoma. And neuroblastoma for Mason was a tumor that had been growing while he was in utero along his spinal column, and had grown across the side of his body and was actually in his chest and compressing on his lungs. The size of his tumor was too big to operate on, so he underwent 8 cycles of chemotherapy. Mason was only 13 days old when he received his first blood transfusion. And I remember sitting in the hospital room with him. I was able to rock him as he was hooked up to various machines, and they started administering the blood. He received white blood cells and also plasma. I remember looking at him as he, I was holding him in my arms, and after the transfusion was done, noticing immediately the difference in his appearance. His face, his chest just had a different color. He almost looked a little rosy or flushed in the cheeks after he received the blood. Through his chemotherapy cycles, he received countless transfusions. To be honest, I don't even remember how many. We had several. And it was a necessity to keep him alive. And we are so grateful for the anonymous donors that give blood through the Red Cross and other organizations to help kids like Mason and adults that are struggling with cancer or other illnesses, or who have been injured in a serious accident and need these life-saving products in order to survive.
And what is Mason's status today?
Mason is a healthy 12-year-old young boy. It's amazing when you think back all that we've been through and how little he was when he was diagnosed and went through his chemotherapy treatments.
These words were spoken by Twyla Bentz, who fell victim to the tornado on June 27, 2010, that ripped through her hometown of Sibley, Iowa. According to the Iowa Storm Chasing Network's 2010 report on this particular twister, The up to 200-mile-per-hour wind meant that several buildings and homes sustained major damage, but thankfully no one was killed or injured. The worst of the damage occurred just southwest of Sibley, where Twyla and her husband Henry Bentz's farm and home is located.
Stifling. That's what the weather felt like. After work, I got home and I knew it was going to do something like thinking that it was going to really pour rain. I'm flipping the dial to try and find the Sheldon radio station, which would be very close to Sibley. And I only heard one word out of the radio, and that word was Sibley. Turned my head towards the bedroom, and I hollered, "Henry, get in the basement." We were really getting scared because we were hearing breaking glass, and I just was saying the Lord's Prayer all the way down the basement. We just got down the basement steps. Then it was just pitch black. We had our eyes closed, and then all I could remember was all the breaking glass and the screeching of the nails coming out of wood. Just when I was sure we were going to die, and oddly enough, I was okay with that. And Henry says, "Dudes, get up. We're alive." And we stood up, and rain was pouring, just pouring down on us. And we got out of the basement by stepping on some debris. The next morning, this was the light of the day, and we were just astonished. Every building was either completely gone or was just barely anything there. Trees looked like kind of burnt matchsticks, and there was absolutely really nothing left. And we had people come and walk the fields, and they tried to get the debris out of the fields and tried to pick up things that could possibly be salvaged. The outpour of love and support was unreal. People from places that had heard of it on TV, heard of it in the newspaper. The Red Cross came to our aid, like they were there right away the next day. And they provided water and food for all the people that were walking the fields and trying to clean up the debris.
Not only was the Red Cross responsible for aiding the Bentzes in their time of need, but for bringing people from different places together as well. A natural disaster unifies others for a common cause, and that is exactly what transpired after the June 27th Sibley tornado had hit. The foundation for this kind of assistance may have been laid by the non-profit organization, but it is the care of others that enforces it. The power that the Red Cross has brings people together to aid those in desperation, as seen with Twyla Bentz, and it ensures that any and all who are willing can give back to the community through this organization, which is shown through the story of Mason Morehouse and his blood transfusions. But the foundation of the Red Cross is built upon volunteers, and no one knows this better than Kathy Morehouse, who has been a nurse at the Red Cross in the apheresis department for over 10 years.
We are a community of volunteers, and without every one of those volunteers, without the donor, without the volunteer that's taking the product, without the person that's drawing the blood, we would not be in business, and therefore our community would suffer. It would suffer greatly if the Red Cross dissolved, because we need these volunteers. Such a very small percentage of the population donate. If only they knew what a service we provide and how wonderful our donors are. But not only our donors, everybody that comes to the Red Cross and helps us. the people that pick it up and deliver for us, our donors, the person that works in the canteen serving the cookies and the drinks, the person that delivers our boxes, our coolers. We would not be anywhere without our volunteers. It is so important. So you and everybody that's watching this, come and volunteer and come and help us out at the Red Cross. We need you.